She's so funny. I play with her, and I'll like Ames is like this too. I'll find like a player scav and like start VoIP them like, hey buddy, what's your name? And the guy's like, oh, my name's Jimmy. I've been playing Tarkov for 2 days. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, dude. You know, and then Ames already knows. She's like, Vohn, don't you dare. I'm like, dude, hey man, you like graphics cards? He's like, oh, dude, I love graphics cards. I was like, come over here, and I'll shoot him. Dunk is the same way, where she's just like, Vohn, don't do it. It just I do it because they hate it.
Yeah. Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to share their experiences, advice, and stories. And today I am super excited. I got Vohnhelsing. Welcome.
Welcome. Awesome to be here, man. Awesome to be here.
So happy you're here. So what we normally do on the pod is we start things off with 3 rapid questions just to get the juices flowing. So are you ready?
Good to go. Let's do it.
All right. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie is Step Brothers. Not even a question.
Nice.
Not even a question.
All right. Best dive bar you've ever been to?
Best dive bar was over in a place in New Orleans, place called I think it was 8 Ball. It's called 8 Ball. You might find 5 people in that bar, but it was just the best place to drink and eat at all times. It was the best place.
Excellent. All right. So now this one's a good one. You may have to think on this one. So you can go back in time or present day. You can have a conversation with anybody in history. Who are you having that conversation with?
Oh man. God, you know what? I look up to Peyton Manning a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Peyton Manning. I mean, I'm a Colts fan since I was a kid. I would love to go back and be there when he got signed for his first year to the pro league to the NFL.
Yeah.
Just to see like all of that hard work and just hear what he's feeling right now. You know what I mean? That feeling of just, I made it, you know? I finally made it.
I didn't know you were a football fan. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love the Colts, man. Big fan of the Colts.
How can you not like Peyton? So I'm a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
So with Brady and Peyton.
All right. Well, it's been a good podcast, man. Thanks for having me here, bro.
But I love Peyton, man. That guy is just his character. He's a good guy. Yeah, you know.
Rock star. I mean, you can say the same about Tom Brady. I mean, obviously everyone knows him as. I'm a Manning fan. I'll say Tom Brady's the GOAT, dude. He's something else, man. He did it all. I have some strong blood for against the Patriots, man.
Oh, I bet.
Every year we get so close to the playoffs, and we're like, all right, we're doing good this year. We have a and we're playing the Patriots. All right, well, it was a good season.
You know, we'll if anything, Eli, just had his number for whatever reason, So.
Yep. I remember that year. I don't think anyone will forget that one.
Nope, that's for sure. All right, so. I have to say, I've had a whole bunch of people on the podcast, and when it comes to the end of it, they say, "Who do you think we should get on?" And you know what? Your name has come up probably 3 or 4 times. We're talking Ames, Ash. It's great. It's everybody loves you.
We're all drinking buddies. That's why. I'm obligated to say that.
Oh, all right. So who is Vohn? Where does the nickname come from first?
So Vohnhelsing actually came from my middle name being Vohn, Vohn. Yeah, my old name used to be D, and then like my first name and then my last name. So it was super long. My last name's super hard to pronounce. Everyone called me LucasArts because it sounds similar to my actual real name. Yeah. And it sounded terrible. So I played video games with my boss at my old job in high school a lot, and as soon as I changed my name to Vohnhelsing, he was like, dude, that is awesome. And the next day I came into work, he was like, go home. He's like, we're playing some games. Like these guys can, don't worry about these guys. They'll take care of everything. Get out of here. So it kind of, awesome. Ever since then, I was like, I'm changing everything to Vohnhelsing.
Nice. All right. So now where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town, Service, Arizona. We have a movie theater and that's about it. Yeah. It's a pretty small town. It's growing, but I grew up in a small town. It was not much to do besides play video games or other stuff that other people did. It's not a great town. So I chose to play video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So I read that you served in the Air Force.
Yes, yes. Did
Congrats.
6 years in the Air Force.
Thank you for your service, first of all.
Appreciate it.
And what made you sign up?
So Sierra Vista is one of those towns where if you don't get out of there early on, right after graduation, high school graduation, then you're kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
It's had a lot of people, and that's how my family was too. I mean, my mom moved there after so many years, and it was whole life she's lived there. So I decided to join the military, join the Air Force, just to get out. I was gonna join the Army as infantry, and then my old boxing coach slapped some sense into me and told me to go to the Air Force. And I'm pretty happy that I did it, actually. Yeah, it's a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I had a Devil Dog on a few weeks ago, and he went into the Marines, and he goes, when you come out, all you can do is work at Walmart or security job. So I was like, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, you got to be smart about it. There's some guys that go in the Air Force, they do their 4 years, and they come out with $200,000 paying, like starting off jobs. You know what I mean? It's like you have to play your cards right. I'm pretty happy with how I did it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I had a couple of buddies that went to the they did Air Force. They did the Air Force Academy. One played football, another played water polo. And
wow.
From coming from Canada, the whole collegiate thing is, it doesn't compare to down here. So when I met them, they said, "Oh, you got to come see a football game." So I went to West Point to see Air Force.
Wow.
Army. And just the camaraderie, you're hooked up for life, anywhere you go in life with the services, and it was just such a really cool experience.
Yep. Yeah, they take their sports seriously at those schools.
Yeah,
they did not mess around. I mean, we don't even go to the games, and we talk shit to the Army and whatnot whenever we win.
Nice. So now, what did you do while you were in?
So I was a crew chief on F-16s. I was basically the mechanic, the guy that any moving part, we're the ones that replace it, inspect it. We're the ones that do the launch. You know, those guys at like airports with those wands who are sitting there doing these crazy dance moves. That's us.
Okay.
That's us. That's essentially what we did.
Oh, very cool. So now what did you end up doing when you got out?
So I got out and went to school at, I don't want to say where actually, but I went to school for simulation science and game animation. So I wanted to get into game design. Yeah. I was doing that for about 2 years, doing pretty well, and I was doing streaming on the side throughout all of it, and ended up just kind of working in where I was like, well, I can't go to school. I can't afford to not work while going to school, so I'll keep on with the streaming. It's making some money, and just see where it goes. And that's kind of how we ended up here.
Oh, excellent, awesome. Yep. So now, what are your first video game memories? So you back in high school, you were playing, and was that the start or earlier?
I was playing games with my dad at a very, very young age. When the PlayStation 1 first came out, that was my first ever console. We played all sorts of stuff like Spy Cooper. God, there's so many games that I don't remember the names of them, but I remember what happened in the video game because they're just so old. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of like Sly Cooper, like games like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
My dad was always a gamer. He would he bought the Wii console, and didn't let us play it because he was playing it. Like we're just my dad. I come from a house of gamers.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's what we have here. I remember I have 3 kids, and they were 5 or 6. We were playing Star Wars Lego on. It was just.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then when they were, my son was 8. We were playing Minecraft. He had a birthday party with we had 8 computers set up on the kitchen table, and 11 years later, they still dabble into Minecraft now, and it's such a cool thing.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I always think it's good to include kids in video games, man, because they're not going away. They're only getting bigger and better. I think what's the harm in exposing them to them at a young age? You know what I mean? Yeah, there's no harm.
Absolutely. So now, what's your looking back from when you started to now? What would you rank as your all-time favorite game?
So I have 2 favorite games. There's my first one that I fell in love. First game that I ever fell in love with that I cannot imagine putting any more hours into it than any other game was Fallout 3, actually.
Yeah.
Fallout 3, man, any type of character you could build, I built it. I did everything. I mean, I wanted to do everything in that game, and I did everything in that game. Just such a good story, and the replayability is just so good. I mean, it was just perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Now, did you have much of a problem transitioning from console to mouse and keyboard?
So I did that. So actually, when I was before I actually got my PC, I was really big. We're all deployed. We all played games like Overwatch and whatnot together, me and my buddies.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good on the controller. I was pretty good. I was known for being one of pretty good at video games. And so when PUBG first came out, that's why I'm not sure if you remember when PUBG came out, everyone was playing. Everyone was playing. If you weren't playing PUBG, you weren't playing like yeah, what are you doing? So I bought a PC specific for PUBG, and it was definitely a transition. I got humbled very quickly and learned how to be terrible at video games just to kind of build back up again.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. So I just saw you had a charity stream the other day. Was that yesterday or the day before?
It was on Saturday. Saturday.
Now, what was the charity for, or what charity did you?
It was for To Write Love on Our Arms. It's a nonprofit charity that dedicates all of their time, money, everything that goes to helping people with mental health illnesses, dealing with depression, suicide awareness, all sorts of stuff like that. That just really means a lot to me.
Oh, awesome! That's excellent. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
That was a fun time. It was a really fun stream.
Oh, good. Yeah, I saw that you deleted your stash and you started from scratch.
I hate Tarkov right now. Yes, I do hate Tarkov.
You are playing handicapped right now.
Yeah, it's been. Oh my god, man! This wipe I've already been taking slow. Like I'm level 25 right now. Every other streamer right now is level 40 and up. I was playing like interchange. I had like a Mosin. I was like, this is the raid, guys. I'm feeling pretty good this raid. And just some dude with an Alton, like it just runs out of me.
Oh man!
I was like, oh well, this is what we expected.
So now, from a streaming standpoint, so you started streaming. You were saying after you got out, you go to school or streaming a little bit. What made you decide to stream?
So I was actually still in the military when I started. So
okay. I
first hit that go live button back when I was in Korea. It was my last year in the military. And I was like, you know what? I've always been a big gamer. I always considered it as a hobby. I got made fun of for buddies. I mean, we're crew chiefs for mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, all alcoholics. Like it's like gaming isn't a very big passion of many people in that field.
Right.
So I had a buddy talk shit and say like, what are you doing? Spend all that money on a PC. He's like, just a waste of money. You're just playing video games. I was like, you spent $5,000 on your wheels the other week. I was like, I know for a fact I get more enjoyment out of my $2,000 PC than you ever could out of your wheel. It's a hobby. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a hobby of mine. So I was like, well, I'm going to be live. I'm going to be playing video games regardless. Why not stream? You know what I mean? Stream for some buddies who want to watch. And that's kind of how it all started, was just me playing for, I think how everyone starts off, me playing for the few buddies that actually, like few buddies who tuned in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who just wanted to hang out. Excellent. And I streamed Apex Legends actually first.
Oh, okay.
Before I started streaming Tarkov. Yeah, it was definitely a different world of streaming.
Oh, I bet. Mm-hmm. So now, do you remember you're streaming and then you got strangers coming in and they're starting to chat? What's that whole experience like?
I actually didn't really get too many people coming in early on. It was the first stranger ended up becoming my mod and one of my good friends, Salem Al. And she doesn't really hang out too often anymore. You know how it is with streaming. Life goes on. But she was like the one person that I would log on and would be there every single day. And that was like the coolest experience for me. And that made me think I can't quit streaming because I owe it to Salem, you know, who's like a consistent viewer to keep going. You know what I mean? But it was definitely an experience learning to talk to people on chat versus eye to eye or person to person, you know, like some voice talking back to you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Now, over the years, what has been the toughest thing about, being a streamer, being on, doing this every day?
It's something that people talk about, but I don't think people talk about enough. That there's a very big struggle of keeping yourself, I would say, like keeping a social life while streaming, because if you're doing full-time streaming, you're live for your 8 hours a day, however long. I've been doing shorter streams, so 6 hours a day. Yeah. But after that, you're also working on clips, you're working on YouTube. My days off are editing days. Yeah. And that's from 6 a.m. to midnight. And then the next morning I wake up early at like 6 a.m. again to finish it. Yeah. And that's just, I'd say the toughest part is just trying to have a personal life. Yeah. And it really affects your mental health, man. I mean, I've dealt with, I don't know if too many people know about this, but I've struggled with depression and all that for my entire adult life. And it's been a tough balance for sure, but this has definitely thrown a wrench in my system that I had going for all of that. It's definitely a struggle that you would never ever see coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And you hear a lot of people like, even just watching the socials and people
Mm.
tweeting, and you can just tell, you know, there's a lot of depression out there, a lot of anxiety from a lot
Hmm.
of people streaming. And I think, Devil Dog, I had him on, and he was saying that, if you have anxiety or depression, this is the last thing you should be doing is going into
Yeah,
content creation.
it's tough, man. I've never had anxiety until I started doing full-time streaming.
Yeah.
I've dealt with. I mean, I've been on stressful situations where I have a jet launched in the desert and shit's going wrong with it, and you're worried about whether or not that jet's going to land. You're going to lose a pilot and all sorts of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Um, and it's different. I don't know how to explain it besides because I hate saying that like, yeah, streaming gives me anxiety because I've dealt with stressful situations, man. I've been in
Yeah.
I've been deployed. We dropped bombs. Like we've done stuff,
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I get way more anxiety than I ever have in the military. Not one time. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
Period. It's tough, man.
Yeah, well, I've heard many people talk about, the numbers, don't look at the numbers because that will drive
Hmm.
you crazy. Or like, people say, hey, I can't even go out to the take out the trash because I'm thinking who's going, I'm going to miss somebody. My viewer's not going to be there. And there's so many things that affect that.
Yeah. So what I've noticed is like you have to reflect on what's going on. Why am I always feeling? Because everyone goes through this, but I think everyone goes through it for their own different reasons. Some people may be worried about the viewers, others may be worried about their YouTube content or whatever
Yeah.
it may be, TikTok. It's always a question of, regardless, it all kind of swings back around to whether or not, like, can you do this? That's like the big worry of like, you have a
Yeah.
bad day. Oh shoot, is this going to keep happening? Can I keep doing this? Is this something that I'm not going to be able to do next month, next week, tomorrow, like anything?
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that's really hard to get a grasp on. Even recognizing that, it's hard to just tell yourself like, keep going. This is just it's Tuesday,
Yeah.
it's Tuesday. People are working. What are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like so
Yeah.
silly to think about after, but during the time, man, it's all you think about, and it's tough to not show that on stream. Especially that's the worst thing you can do. I think
Right.
is recognize you're having a bad day, and because whenever I have, I'm sure people can relate to this. Whenever I have a bad day and I show it on stream, the numbers are lower. That's just how it
Yeah.
is. Like it's just if I'm playing with a big 5-man and I'm just in a bad mood and I'm not talking to chat, and numbers are lower. That's just how it is. And
Yeah.
that's not only is that's going to make your mood worse too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants to come in and see somebody who's not enjoying what they're doing. That's,
100%. 100%. Yeah.
there's 100 other names they can pick and go to another space. And if, yeah, like, some advice I've heard is if you're not in a good mood, you don't feel it, don't stream because it's not going to play well.
Yeah. I would definitely say I agree with that 100%. I wish I would have taken that advice a long time ago, because I would say if you're not going to stream, put your time either de-stress or
Yeah.
put your time into something else like YouTube.
Yeah.
Man, it's YouTube. These other social media platforms are just so vital to streaming, and I see so many streamers who don't do any of them,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy to think that like, how do you keep going up? How do you keep growing if you're not doing these other platforms? Twitch's discoverability is really bad unless
Right.
you're top of the line. Like people are typing Escape from Tarkov and they see your name first.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna get seen, and you're not going to really. That's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, the discoverability, like you got, especially when a wipe happens, you've got 5-6 pages of streamers who are up there doing Tarkov, and yeah, it's going to be tough to find you. But you throwing some
Yep.
content on TikTok, YouTube, it's you'll probably end up doing a little bit better.
Yep, 100%. I'd also say this in terms of like the stress behind streaming that everybody experiences. By the way, this is not something that's like that stops. Like once you get over 100 viewer average, don't worry, man, you're good. You don't worry about that stuff anymore. No, I know people who have over 1,000 viewers who still experience this kind of thing. You know what I mean? They still
Yeah.
stress about this kind of thing, and it's so silly too.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be, but that's just how it is. But I will say this: I watch a lot of Trainwreck. And what he does, which is I've been trying to do more often when I'm solo,
Yeah.
is whenever he takes constant breaks where he gets up, he's like, all right, back, guys, and he just walks off for like 5
Yeah.
minutes, and he sits down. he watches a segment of an episode of TV or something like that, just to not think about stream for a second. And man, it's been a lifesaver. I swear my hairline stopped receding because of it. I swear it's been a lifesaver, man. It's been a nice little just a little break.
Yeah. Well, it's, a lot of people have this misconception, your streamers just playing games, and there's so much more to that, like you think about people who are doing this 8 hours a day, sitting in front of the, if you're just streaming, you are not really, human interaction. You're reading chat, if you're, especially if you're doing a solo storyteller session or whatnot, you're there 8 hours really just reading chat. There's none of that interaction. And like you said, get outside. Your social life needs to balance some things out too.
Yep. That's I mean, even to this day, I still struggle with that too. That's a tough balance, man. It's tough allotting free time with it actually being free time, because my days off, I will sit at my PC, watch another stream, and be like, man, I should make a YouTube video. And then I'll spend the whole day editing, and then that whole day's gone. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's so hard to dedicate free time for yourself when you stream full time.
Oh, absolutely. The other aspect of this too, that's I think unique for the US is, being a full-time streamer, there's no sick days, there's no vacation days. That's a big risk you've got to try to balance.
It's tough with family too, because they don't. It's tough to explain to them. Like, if I'm not streaming, I'm not making any money. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I love you guys, but I can't just take a month off and go hang out with you guys. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
That's how a lot of family members see it. Because in the military, it's nice. You get 30 days off each year, so you can take it all at once, or you can do, week here, week here, week here. You can't do that here. You can't do that in this job. Your time off, that's on you. And then. It's not only you're not getting paid for that time, but it also affects, like everyone knows, it affects your views when you come back,
Yep. Absolutely. So now, so we talked a lot, the negative side of things. What's been your highlight since you started going streaming live? What's, a couple of things that really stick out for you?
Oh man, when I hit partner, dude. It was, Ash and I we talk every single day. And when we first met, we both said we're gonna make partner together. We're gonna see each other at the partner lounge. All of these plans coming to TwitchCon, like us finally hanging out, and all of this stuff just was based on us both being partner. You know what I mean? That was our biggest goal. We both decided we're gonna do this. We're gonna ride this train together. We're doing this together.
Yeah.
And when me and Ash both hit partner, man, that was. It was a very. We got to get WilDez there now. WilDez is up next. WilDez is the next man to hit partner. He deserves it, bro. His content's so good. But
so good,
that was probably one of the biggest highlights. Was just meeting good friends like Ash and WilDez, and another good friend, Swamp Fox. Swamp Fox was on call with me when I got my partner email. We were talking about YouTube. Swamp Fox
tell the story. Tell the partner story. This is
All right. So I was on call with Swamp Fox with we're talking about something for YouTube. He's helped me a ton with my YouTube channel. Awesome, dude. And I was just going through my email as we're chatting, and I see the partner email, and I tell him, I was like, dude, I gotta go. He's like, what? I just got up and I started screaming cheer, it was childish, but I got up and started screaming, dude. I was freaking out. And especially because it's a first time application too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, most people find their responses in 2 weeks. It took me a month and a half for them to respond. I was just like, is this good? Is this bad? I don't know what's happening. But yeah, man, it was just such an unreal. In my first stream as a partner was the first and only time my girlfriend's ever seen me tear up. I refuse to cry in front. I say what you will. I refuse to cry for my girlfriend. But it was the first time I ever teared up, man. It was just one of the highest points of my life. One of the highest points ever. And one of the highest points ever.
Cool. So now you mentioned Ash and WilDez. How did you guys all meet up first of all? So you and Ash were hooked up together first, it sounds like?
No, actually, I met WilDez first.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, I was watching. So my first time applying for the Evasion solo tournament, and the first day, I remember this. I was going to my buddy's wedding, and on the drive there, I was watching WilDez. I wasn't driving. I was watching my buddy. I was watching WilDez on the big screen. He was He was playing in the I think it was the first day, and I just remember WilDez saying everything was going wrong for him. And he was like, "Stick to the plan, guys." That was his big catchphrase was "Stick to the plan, guys. Stick to the plan." And he was just such a funny guy, man. Even on the big screen during a tournament when people are usually not talking to chat, not making any jokes, they're just focused on the gameplay. He was just cracking jokes left and right. And since then, I followed him and I started hanging out his chat. And man, dude, WilDez is just such a grade A content creator, man. He's one of those guys that's so good on his feet and just an entertainer, man. There's a lot of people in Twitch who I would say aren't entertainers who are very successful, but that's they're different. They appease to a different audience,
right?
Obviously, but WilDez is definitely the entertainer, man. He's fantastic. And then I met Ash during a Punisher tournament. He actually went through and followed every Punisher competitor because he's pretty new to Tarkov.
Yeah.
So he followed every Punisher competitor, and I was one of them. And he just happened to drop by, and somebody dropped by. I think it was his mod Harambe was like, Ash rated me, and he was like, "Man, this guy might be the loudest guy on Twitch." And Ash was like, "He's like, oh yeah, I might have something to say about that." And so, yeah, that's how I met Ash, man.
Oh, no way. Yeah, both of those guys are just fantastic guys. Super nice, super helpful. We're just, great members of the community.
Oh man, Ash, dude, Ash is the reason I'm still streaming today, man. Ash is, I have so many good things to say about him, but I don't want him to get a big head, so I don't want to go too on about it. But Ash is just gonna be one of the top streamers of Twitch, period, man. There's just no way he's not going to. There's a certain thing you need to have, and he's got it. I don't know what it is. It's a drive, dude. He's got it. There's nobody wants it more than Ash. Yeah. Not one person out there.
Well, just hearing him cast, I think it was the last Evasion tournament, it's a natural for it. Quick with the one-liners. He was like just like it was watching somebody professional call an event.
Yep, it's where he belongs, man. He's got it, dude. There's not many people out there that I can say are as entertaining. I can't think of another streamer that's more entertaining than Ash.
Yeah.
Period, man. There's just, dude, he wants it, man.
Yeah.
He's gonna get it too. He wants it, man. He wants to be that guy. He wants to be the Tim the Tap Man. Of Twitch, and he's gonna get it, man. I'm just gonna put it out there now.
That's a good call. So now, in your content creator yourself, you're pretty, the Tarkov Police, the Tarkov PD video, dude, that was content gold right there.
Oh man, dude, there's so many options, so many things you can do with VoIP, dude. Like my favorite thing was the in-game trader stuff that I did for a while.
Yeah.
And guys like WilDez and Ash. And there's not many guys out there that are gonna do it like we do in terms of like the VoIP stuff, man. But like they are like, their ideas are just constantly flowing. And WilDez came up to me with this idea for the cops, the Tarkov police, man.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm sold. You basically just follow WilDez's lead, and he'll lead you to some good content, man. He's hilarious.
Oh, it's like the way you guys played it off, good cop, bad cop, come off to the side. It was just, you couldn't have asked for a better turnout.
Oh, that was just all on the fly too. We basically got together before stream. We're like, okay, I guess we'll just act as cops, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, what can go wrong? And that's how it ended up turning out. Well, me and WilDez have such good synergy that I feel like we can go with any idea and just make it something fun, man. Yeah. That's why I love the guy, dude. He's such an entertainer.
Oh, that's fantastic. So now a lot of the other streamers who've been on, they talk about, chat being different, whether it's certain days of the week, certain nights, days. What have you found?
I would say Fridays and Saturdays are my best days. So those are days that I just like refuse to take off. Like this. Yeah. It has to be a trip to the hospital for me to take off for Friday or Saturday. But yeah, I mean, during Tuesdays and Wednesdays, like you have a flow of your stream. And me and Ash talked about this before when we planned like duo days. We would say like, yeah, Wednesday's my best day because it's the middle of the week. For him, he's like, it's best day for the middle of the week. Everyone's kind of like, everyone knows we're live. And for me, it was the worst day. So I would take Wednesdays off because it's just an awkward day for me. It's like the middle of, I usually stream on weekends. And so it's just the middle of it's just a bad day for me. You can usually tell it's chat's a little bit slower. Usually around 4 p.m. everyone kind of hops in. Hey, I'm off work. It's nice. Yeah. I do notice as you continue to grow, you get more viewers who are from overseas, from like Europe and whatnot, and they're the ones that'll kind of keep you company during those awkward
Yeah.
like noon to 4 times, which is
Cool.
nice.
Now, what is your schedule? Do you have have you focused on a set schedule?
Yeah, so you play around with what works for you. So you try the DGen schedule, which is the like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Just like an awful like swing shift schedule. You got the morning streamers. I can't stand being a morning streamer. I don't know how people wake up and just press go live. I have to wake up, get coffee in me, get some breakfast. I have to walk the dog, all sorts of stuff before I even like think about going live. I just can't do it. So I stumbled upon my schedule because it's just like a perfect in between. I got nothing going on outside of streaming, so it's basically just what time works for me. I figured this is a good time. It's in between people getting on, when people getting off, So it's a good fit. It's a good fit.
Okay.
So I usually go live from like 1 p.m. or no, sorry, noon to like 8 p.m.
Yeah. Okay. So now, what advice would you have for somebody who's thinking about, pushing the go live button or creating content from a video game they like?
I would say first off, make sure it's something you enjoy. I would not be able to stream Tarkov if I did not like the game. There's days where I love this game and I still have to get off early because it's just frustrating. And it's not because of the game necessarily. It's just there's parts of streaming that are just frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
There's times where the biggest advice I would say is enjoy your content. You have to enjoy your content. Watch it over. If you find parts where you're like, what am I doing here? What was I talking about? Or you kind of just notice you're dragging on, I would say work on that and figure out what works best for you. You have to enjoy your content. If you don't, nobody will.
That's true. Yep. All right. So let's talk about Tarkov. How did you find the game, first of all?
I actually quit streaming. I was playing Apex Legends for a year and a half, streaming it. And I decided to quit streaming because I was streaming it for a year and a half to 3 viewers. It wasn't working out. I accepted that. I was like, okay, well, we'll come back to it later if we do. And so I took 3 months off of streaming. I was playing Apex with my buddy Todd a lot, and then he decided to get me into Tarkov. So I tried it out. Fell in love with it instantly. My first raid, I killed a 3-man. I was in a corner hiding. But I killed a 3-man and got out a ton of loot. And it was just a crazy experience ever. So that's how I fell in love with it, man. I just started playing it every day, and finally I was like, okay, I'm getting pretty good at this game. After a couple months, I was like, I'm getting pretty good. Let's try streaming it. And I had TTV in my name, and we just had a ton of people coming in and say hi, more people than I ever did in Apex. And I was like, you know what? Let's try it out. Let's try streaming this game. And that's what got me into it, man. Yeah.
Oh, so what is the hook that this game has on you, and that just keeps you coming back, and it's like video game crack?
For as a streamer, this is the best game to play and interact with chat. There's no way you're talking to chat when you're playing Call of Duty Warzone or you're playing Apex Legends and you're trying to fight somebody. There's no way it's happening.
Yeah.
There's just too much going on. It's too quick. You die, you're back in instantly. It's just too quick. So for me, as a streamer, I will always play Tarkov because it's a good way to interact with the community and really get to know who your viewers are and let them know who you are.
Yeah.
But as a gamer, man, you are never gonna find better gunplay than Escape from Tarkov. I don't care if you died to desync. It happens in every video game. There is not a better game there's not a game that does it better than Tarkov. Period. There's not one that even comes close to it. It's the gunplay mechanics are so good. The risk reward is so good. Yeah, all of it.
It's a high pucker factor. It's just
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been playing for 6 wipes now, and I died today where I almost flipped my desk. It happens, man. There's not many games that get you like that, dude. There's not.
Nope, that is so true. So what's your thoughts on the new patch that dropped?
For me, okay, so we all know there really wasn't much content added, right? That's the biggest complaint. Everyone's like, oh, what am I gonna do with my hands? I don't know what to do. Lighthouse, cool, whatever. Okay, I get that. There's not much content added, but the quality of life fixes that came to Tarkov this wipe were something that, God, if it didn't happen, I'd probably be playing right now.
Yeah.
Inertia. I was team last wipe. I was team. I hate this. Like I hated inertia with a passion. It sucked. Level 1 through 10 inertia felt like you were ice skating. You let go of your key and you keep walking for 4 or 5 steps. Like, what the hell am I doing? Inertia this wipe, it felt like how Inertia should have been from the start. I don't know if like like Inertia last wipe it scaled with strength, so as your strength got higher, it got lessened. I hope it doesn't. Like I hope level 1 Inertia this wipe is how it is for the entire wipe because it felt good. It felt smooth. It felt like you can still snappy. You're not like gliding everywhere you go. So all these quality of life changes that came with this wipe were so necessary. Like it was something that like it just needed to happen, especially before Arena. Like that's what people don't realize. Like these are changes that were probably rushed because if we had old Inertia for Arena, oh god, I would have felt terrible. I would have felt terrible. I would have felt terrible.
Yeah.
Big fan of the wipe.
The other piece of it that I haven't done much with is the co-op offline mode.
Yes, man, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. We did battleships the other day where we had 5 dudes on one side of a wall and 5 dudes on the other side of the wall. They all set up, they can't move.
Yeah,
and you have one team throw a nade, and then you call either hit, miss, or kill. Like you sunk your battleship. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you just had going back and forth like that. It was super fun, man. It was super fun.
That is awesome.
Yep. As soon as you get a hit, it's crazy because as soon as you get a hit, you're like, okay, I know where this guy is. And then we'd say rotate, and then rotate, and then you're like, oh god, and then everything back to square one. We're just nades hoping to get a hit. Yeah, it was fun, man.
Shoot, that's things like that, or what Ash was doing with the quick draw, is going to open the doors for so much cool content.
Yep. It is, man. It's gonna be fun for YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, man. All of those. This is like the time to get creative. People are bored with this wipe. Go make your own fun. That's how it's always been every single wipe. One of the perks of moving into a new house is that you just your power just cuts out randomly.
But what kind of storms you get in Arizona?
Oh, monsoon seasons get pretty bad.
Really?
Like right now we've been getting pretty heavy, like especially because it's a desert. So a lot of it, what happens is it's really dry. So that whenever it rains, the water doesn't actually get absorbed into the ground quickly or quick enough because it's so dry. So it just creates flash floods and it knocks out power, knocks out internet, everything. Yeah, it's the worst.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's the worst for streaming.
Oh, I bet. Oh my god. Oh, all right, let's try this. Let's keep going here.
Yeah, apologies about that.
Dude, don't worry about that. It all happens. So when 12.12 came, we got VoIP. So that must have opened the doors for you. If somebody like you who loves, you've got the personality, there's so much you could do now with VoIP.
Yep. So the biggest thing that I actually, we all had fun with the VoIP. I think everyone did the sheriff thing. Yeah. Come out with their hands up. You know what I mean? The standard sheriff thing that you kind of expect with Tarkov. But me and Ash really try to get creative with it with VoIP. So like I did my in-game trader series, so I would load in. It's a little different now with the RMT stuff, but I would load in with Letixes, like black key card, green key card, all sorts of like cool loot, and I would set up shop next to custom or next to dorms, an ice cream shop, and I would have people go out and find me found and raid like random items, like a barter trades, like I'd be like, for one shampoo I'll give you a black key card. They're like, what? Like PMCs and raid, like what? And I was like, I have it on me right now. They're like, holy shit, I'll be right back. And then they'd go for the entire like 35-minute raid. I'd be sitting there just like on YouTube, just on stream, just watching YouTube. And a guy would come back and be like, hey man, I got the shampoo. And then that's how we did it, man. And I did that for months. That was my favorite thing to do in raid. Like that's how I made, like, even though we got bored with everyone gets bored with Tarkov after so many months. That's how I kept myself entertained with like VoIP, and now offline co-op is gonna be what I do personally to keep myself entertained. But yeah, man, it's awesome, dude. VoIP and offline co-op are the best changes they made to Tarkov since I started playing. Yeah,
absolutely. The other thing 12.12 gave us, which I liked, is the sort of the the civilian flea market. So pulling that, pulling a lot of the ammo off and armor. I think that was a good move to balance things out.
Yes. I never played pre-flea market, but I did play when you didn't have to have it be found in raid status.
Oh, yeah.
So you kill a guy with a red buffer tube on his M4, you're like, holy, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Because even back then, it was still worth 200K on the flea market. I mean, even when you can sell it on the flea market from every time you find it, it was still that much.
Yeah.
And then I've also played games like, if you've played the Cycle, they don't have a flea market. Every armor, every gun, you have to either buy or craft, and it's punishing when you die, because you die with the blue, purple armor, pink armor, you're in tears almost. You're almost in tears. And it was a good feeling. I mean, it was a good rush. And I almost wish Tarkov was like that, where you didn't have the flea market. So everything you found, like can you imagine if you're trying to do your, I know flea market's here to stay, but can you imagine if you find like the last set of bolts for your hideout? Like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. You know?
Yeah.
That feeling just gets so much better without the flea market. You know, more. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like
great.
before the last wipe, they did some toying around. They pulled away the flea market or moved traders away, and
Yes.
it made it sort of added that grindiness that things valued more.
Yeah, it also punished the casual player base, though. I will say that with
Yes.
every change that's been coming to Tarkov, it has been very punishing, I think, to the casual player base. The RMT trade, you can't drop keys for your friends. You can't, you can't make a ton of money, a certain amount of money off of the taxes from the flea market. You know, all these changes,
or things that help build your hideout. You can't drop this.
yeah, simple stuff like that. All of that stuff, I think, is very, very punishing to the person who plays maybe once a week. You know, they have the couple hours a day or a couple hours a week to play. Those guys are probably feeling it the worst right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, have you ran into the new traveling bosses?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So the first time I actually ran into them twice. I'd say that's more than most people, I would say.
Yeah.
The first time it was with Ash. Ash is like, who is that? Oh, I'm dead. that's all I heard. I was like, oh, okay. I walked up and I thought it was, he's like, yeah, it's definitely the boss. So I do like the slow peek everyone's been doing, that little slow lean.
Yeah.
Usually you have enough time to like see someone and go back, before they see you. Well, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, there he is. 2 shots from what was his name? Birdshot? Is that not?
Or
yeah,
Birdeye.
Birdeye. Why did I say Birdshot? Birdeye. 2 shots from him, and I was dead. Yeah, he has a cool. Have you heard about that rated bug where raiders will shoot 1 time and hit you 3 times?
Yes. Yep.
Birdeye apparently has that. He shot me twice and hit me 4 times with M993. So wasn't much of a chance. Second time I met them, I was in a lighthouse. I held a door. I let them push through the door. I killed one. Second one killed me through the door. So I'm learning. I'm slowly learning how to kill them on my own.
What is your favorite map out of all of Tarkov?
I am like Ash. I am a big fan of interchange.
Yes.
I played before the lighting got messed up, and I played after the lighting got messed up, and I played after everyone stopped playing it for quite some time. And then finally I started playing custom because nobody wanted to play with me. Everyone's like, I'm not going to interchange. I don't want to play. We'll play some other time, man. And so finally I started playing customs. But for a long time, man, interchange was my baby. I mean, I don't think there's really anyone that was better than me at interchange at the time. That's all I played. For 3 wipes straight, for 3 wipes every single day, every single raid was interchange. And I loved it. I loved it.
I agree. That is one of my favorite maps, even with the lighting. It's the whole atmosphere. It's something you always wish you could go in and a paintball fight inside of a mall, and
cool. Yes, man. It's all indoors fights, and that's what people need to realize. Like, if the lighting was just better, like if the power is on, why not you light it up like a real mall? Where it's bright light and you're able to see everything. There's got to be something that's holding them back that we don't know of, because there's no reason they just leave it this dark.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man, the PvP, you're not going to get better PvP, maybe labs. You're not going to get better PvP than interchange, though. It's all indoors. You're not fighting bush Wookiees. You're fighting guys who are throwing nades, rotating, and taking long holding angles. It's just such a great map.
And there's a lot of verticality to it, too, and different ways.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Having overlooks, too. You can have some, there's just so many options for PvP. Whereas customs, if somebody's in marked room, what are you gonna push them? That's what are you gonna do? You can shoot through the window too, maybe. I guess that's pretty cool. I guess, but that's it, right? So say you got somebody downstairs in Kiva, or not in Kiva, in like Avocado. It's like you can send somebody up top. You can send somebody around Goshan. You can send somebody with a hole in the wall or a hole in the ground. You can send somebody through rescue. There's just so many options.
Yes.
For PvP, that are safe options too. I would say.
Absolutely. Now, what's your least favorite map?
Woods.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. That map is boring.
Oh,
that map is
new
boring.
Is even worse because you're stuck up in the middle of nowhere.
Man.
Now you've got to come.
Yeah, dude. It's like kill kill 10 PMCs on woods. Like, oh my god, I hate this. It's just the worst because it's like you gotta spend forever finding, and then like 30 minutes in a raid, you kill Sturman, there hasn't been a peep.
Yep.
And you go to loot him, and you get sniped, and there's some guy just waiting 30 minutes in, just hanging out, watching his. I'm not gonna say it. No.
Yeah.
Just doing his thing, just hanging out for 30 minutes. That's the only map that'll happen on. I don't care what you say. You cannot change. People are like, "Oh, there's so much money on woods." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go crazy before I get all that money. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I can't do it. That map's so boring."
And then I'm assuming this is your least favorite task, is getting 3 PMC kills
Oh,
on woods.
God.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually don't mind Bolty. This is the first wipe where I've been running nothing but Bolties, and I've been having a blast with it. I'm not playing woods. I don't care. I didn't do that task last wipe. I might not do this wipe. That task just makes you crazy. It makes me just hate Tarkov.
So now I've seen you roll with a whole bunch of different people. You're rolling with Ames, Ash, Will, all over the place. Who's your crew that you roll with probably most of the time?
I would say Ames and Ash are like my two go-tos. I don't really plan. I've been trying to plan more solo days. I'm at a point now where I'm trying to like get back to like solo days to just talk to chat. Like I despise 5-mans. If you played a 5-man, there's no way you're talking to. It's either you're talking to them, like your group, or you're talking to chat. You can't do both. It's just impossible. So I despise 5-mans. I'm trying to not do groups for as long as I can right now. But if I was to play with anybody right now, it'd be Ames and Ash by far. They're like the two people that we hit each other up any day of the week. What are you doing? Are you solo? Let's play. That's like the dream of finding a group of people like that. Yeah. Where if you're solo and you see they're solo, you guys can just game. There's nothing, no issues with it. You don't have to plan anything. You just say, "What are you doing tonight?" Excellent. Those two are my favorite people in the world to game with.
Well, this game is tough. You said 5-mans, 4-mans, 5-mans. They're tough because you've got to play. Your call outs got to be on par. Your comms are. It's just like this game is brutal for that. Yeah. I definitely you learn to play in 5-mans, especially with 5-mans that you've never played with before. Yeah. How I've learned to do it is kind of stay in the back and keep my eyes on everybody that I can. I won't get as much loot, but I don't really care. I'm not dying. It's better than dying. So it's definitely that's been my approach to playing 5-mans. It's a lot less stressful because people know where you are because you're behind them. Right. And you're just keeping track of everybody. That's your job. Just don't shoot anybody. All right. So now here's a question I ask everybody who comes on. Pick an all-star Tarkov squad that you say their names of their OG people, current people. You're running a 5-man. Who are your 4 you would love to play with?
Do you want new people? Because I already have a squad that I think the God squad.
I want the God squad of who you would love to play with. You say the name, they're there, and it doesn't matter if you played with them before. Just who it's like that'd be fun to play with that guy or this girl.
Okay, I would do Ames, Ash. I would love the squad. I would do Ames, Ash, WilDez, Miss Dunk. Yeah. Is that 4?
That's 4. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Yep, that's the squad. Let me.
Yeah, I just had Miss Dunk on. What a fantastic girl. Oh my god.
She is the sweetest person. Period. Absolutely. She is the sweetest person I've ever met. She is so nice.
Yeah, and then I watched her do a Sherpa, and like, oh my god, this is the perfect Sherpa. She was very patient. She knew her stuff, and it was like, she's a perfect candidate for the Sherpa program. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's so funny. I play with her, and I'll like, Ames is like this too. I'll find like a player scav and like start VoIP them, like, "Hey buddy, what's your name?" And the guy's like, "Oh, my name's Jimmy. I've been playing Tarkov for 2 days." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome, dude." And then Ames already knows. She's like, "Vohn, don't you dare." I'm like, "Dude, hey man, you like graphics cards?" He's like, "Oh, dude, I love graphics cards." I was like, "Come over here," and I'll shoot him. Dunk is the same way, where she's just like, "Vohn, don't do it." It just I do it because they hate it.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that because I was watching one of your clips where you were in factory calling out. I don't know whose name you were calling out, and you wiped a 4-man. Hey, I got a graphics analyzer. I need to get out, and then you just, oh my god.
That was if you ever seen Impractical Jokers,
yes.
The guy that he calls out, Larry. I was
Oh
calling out.
yes,
I was
yes.
doing the Larry. How he gets to like a big line. And he's like Larry, and he starts like passing everybody and running
Yeah.
up. That's exactly what I was doing, but in Tarkov.
So next time you're talking to Miss Dunk, ask her how she ended up driving a car for so many years in Oklahoma without a horn.
Is that real?
Yeah, her dad built her a car and she drove around Oklahoma with no horn, and she didn't get a horn until she moved to Texas and had to get like, inspected.
I would not drive without a horn. I honk my horn a lot in Arizona. We have some bad drivers.
Yeah. So yeah, ask her about the horn. Like, how is it driving a car with no horn?
She needs. I would have an air horn and just on standby at all times to exterior my car. I just reach my hand out and get it.
Yeah.
There's no way I would be able to live like that.
So now you're looking forward to when Arena comes out.
Yes, I will probably be playing only arena, most
Yeah.
likely. Yeah, a lot of tournaments I've been doing in the past have been really like it's mostly I've just been doing with friends, which is fine.
Yeah.
I loved every bit of it. We've all had fun. You know, the Invasion tournament with Ash and WilDez was just
Yeah.
the best time ever.
Oh, yeah.
I think arena, if they do implement it properly with the rank system, I'm gonna be playing nothing but that. That's gonna
Yeah.
be my wipe, was just playing
Yeah.
arena.
Very cool. So now with your community, all of you who are doing this for a living or whatnot, even not even for a living, you guys end up developing your community. Yeah. How would you describe your community that follows Vohnhelsing?
I will say this: my community has supported me day in, day out, and I've never been. If I'm having a bad day, I vent to stream. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I don't keep anything from them. Like they know more about me than a lot of family does.
Yeah.
Which is I think something that's kind of made this possible. Is that me being so open with stream? Like a lot of my best friends are my mods. I mean, my mods
Yeah.
are gonna be at my wedding. I'm gonna be at their wedding. I already got invited to one of my mods' weddings. Like we're best friends, man. This is not just playing video games for me. This is so much more than that. This is my life. Like this is something that I love, and I love the people, and I hope they love me.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be here without them, dude. There's so many days where I'll have a bad day with like my mental health struggles, and I'll get on stream and I'll just be honest with them, like, hey, like yesterday was really bad, today's really bad. I don't know what. I hope you guys understand. I'm gonna turn my camera off. That helps me sometimes with my anxiety and depression and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're always cool with it, man. They are 100% supportive of it. There's some chats like XQC's chat. Can you imagine if he said something like that?
No.
They would just say the most absurd stuff.
But I think this goes to our Tarkov community. It's a mature game, so you're getting
exactly.
You get the maturity level is a lot different, and everybody loves who's talked about their communities, has a community. It's just such a great almost like a family experience, and like you said,
100%.
So like you do this every day. You've got people who come in every day, they talk to you, and over years you're going to develop those relationships. And like you said, you share things with them than you do probably with your IRL friends and family.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's I will say this. I tell everybody this. I wouldn't be streaming to this day. I tell every streamer that I meet who doesn't stream Tarkov.
Yeah.
It is if you want to do streaming, if you want to make this a thing, you want to build a community, I can't think of a better game than Tarkov, man. And there's so many reasons why.
Yeah.
And Tarkov's gonna get different. I will say this. With arena mode, the community will change drastically in Tarkov. You're gonna have the guys who are competitors who, if they do it well, they're gonna have like pro teams signing up and all that stuff. You're gonna have the Twitch community is gonna change drastically. You're gonna have guys who you've never even heard of come into the arena mode and dominate. And they're going to be their first time going live is going to be them during that tournament. And they're going to be the next big thing. And you're going to be like, whoa, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
And that's just how competitive games go. And that's why Tarkov's always been like an amazing community. Was that we had competitive scenes, but it wasn't about that. It was like content was primarily the main thing of what made people succeed. It may change. It may not. I think it's going to change, but, I tell everybody, stream Tarkov. The community is why we're all here. That's why every one of us is going live every day. It's because of Tarkov. It's because of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody who I've had on from the Tarkov community is fantastic. Since jumping, this is really the first community I've jumped into from a video game standpoint, and it's been wonderful. And you talked about the Apex community. What was that like?
So it was more. It was. I have buddies who are still in the Apex community today, who have been going for like 4 years now, 3, 4 years, and it's mind boggling to think that they're not one of the biggest names in the game at that point after that long because of how good they are. And the thing about that community and a lot of things like Warzone and whatnot, the guys who succeed are the guys on pro teams. That's what I've seen. The guys that are on pro teams are the ones that are doing well on Twitch, the ones that are doing well on YouTube, everywhere else, and they're also doing well obviously financially because they're doing well in the tournaments that have good prize pools, which is awesome for them. But it's difficult as a content creator to make a name for yourself unless you do something just crazy. You have to be so crazy to stand out. It's so much harder to stand out in that community than it is in Tarkov. Yeah, and I think I hope I don't get any flack for saying this, but I really think Tarkov's community is going to change with Arena. And some may see it in a bad way. I think it's going to be good because it's going to bring a lot of new people in, but it's going to be very, very different when Arena mode comes in, just because that's how competitive communities are. It's whoever's the best are the ones that are, they're the ones that are getting views or eyes, you know?
Yeah. I guess the only saving grace to that is we're still going to have Tarkov, what we know as Tarkov,
of course.
you know, so you're going to have,
which is awesome.
You're going to have that separation probably, but everybody's going to be talking Tarkov in some form.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing with like the Kappa rush every wipe, you know? Like if you've seen you've seen when somebody blows up from being the first one to Kappa. It's crazy. It's awesome. I mean, that's what I think Trey blew up from being the first one to Kappa last year. Smokin did. Rengar Rengar was pretty close, but Rengar's also a phenomenal YouTuber as well as Trey. There's so many competitive edges that people don't see that are like so similar in other communities of being like the best. Like, it's hard to say who's the best. Right. But the best guys do get they're out there and they do get the viewers, man. They're known for being there are people who are known for being the best in Tarkov, man, and that's gonna shine even more so when Arena comes out.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So speaking of other content creators, you know, who's out there other people should, you know, check out?
Man, if you don't know, I've been thinking about this a lot. If you don't know, there's two people, Swamp Fox and JBB. You guys are messing up, and they're two totally different content creators. That's the nice thing about it. Swamp Fox is one of the best. Like, you ever watch Frankie on PC in 1080p, like the famous YouTuber who does DayZ and stuff like that? Yeah. Swamp Fox is him, but for Tarkov. Yeah. Him, Tulu is the same way. They're both just the best storytellers in Tarkov, period. And their YouTube content, they're the ones that got me into YouTube, which has almost been like a saving grace for me. Yeah. And then JBB is just one of the best, like, he's made for streaming. He's like Ash, you know what I mean? He's like he's like Ash. They both want it, bro. They both want to be the best, and they're gonna get there because they're both just phenomenal streamers. JJ's just one of the best, hands down best guys. He's also one of the guys that I killed Timmy, who's day 3 of Tarkov. He gives me a call. What are you doing, man? He's just like, he's a good guy, you know? He's a good guy. Great streamer.
All right, cool. Any games you're looking forward to playing on stream?
I want no judgment. The new Harry Potter game coming out end of the year, man. That looks pretty good. It looks pretty cool. I was never a big Harry Potter fan. I'll say it. Star Wars is better than Harry Potter. Lord of the Rings also better than Harry Potter, but the Harry Potter game looks pretty dang good. I'm probably gonna be playing it.
Oh, okay. Now, Star Wars. So you're a Star Wars fan?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Are you going to, if you're watching I don't want to say 1 through 9, let's say 1 through 6. Yeah. Are you going to watch Rogue One in between 3 and 4?
You know what? I haven't watched the new ones, the new Star Wars yet. Yeah. I watched I think it was Rogue One. Yeah. No. I watched one of the new ones. It's the one where they first meet Kylo Ren. Okay. And the lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo Ren. Yeah. It looked like it was choreographed by like a 5-year-old. I'm sorry. It drove me nuts that you went from 3 where Yoda and Sidious are fighting and Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting. They're doing backflips. They're doing all these crazy movements. And then when Kylo Ren and Rey fight, it's
like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, 100%. It's just like that, man. It was just like, what am I watching? I get it for the time, though. You know what I mean? For the first Star Wars, I get it for the time, you know? Yeah. But then you get to now, Disney, what are you doing? Like, they stepped up the game for sure later on. I saw some clips. I haven't watched them yet. Yeah. But I've seen clips. The fights do get better, but man, that first, oh man, drove me crazy. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I gotta stop watching this. I can't watch it anymore.
No, but Rogue One is probably one of my favorite ones because it's, have you seen that one?
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Definitely got to give it a watch because at one point in the movie, you're like, oh my God, they're all going to die. And then you see Vader's fury at the end of it. And it is definitely.
I have seen that clip, which led to the fourth movie. I have seen that clip. Yeah. Insane.
Yes.
There ain't a more badass Vader moment than in End of Rogue One. I haven't even seen the movie and I've seen that.
Yeah.
What did you think of Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan was good. It was better than the Boba Fett stories. I
agree.
That was just cheesy.
Agreed. I agree. Mandalorian was good too. I haven't watched all of it. I watched the first season. I have to watch the next ones after. But man, Obi-Wan sucked me in. Yeah. Obi-Wan. The fact that I think that they did with the original actors too. Yeah. Was just. I don't want to spoil anything. Man, it was so nostalgic and so cool to see.
Yeah. And I'm a huge Red Hot Chili Pepper fan, so I was happy to see Flea in there.
Yep. How cool is that? Yep. How cool is that? Didn't you just feel like I feel like I was just getting old when I saw the original cast for when Obi-Wan and what's his name trained with, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, no, it is. You look back, it's like, oh my God, we're all old. I'm still in your 20s at least. Yeah. So now, when you're done streaming for the day or making any content, what are you doing? You know
what, man? I cook a lot. I've been like filling that void between streaming and something like just keeping yourself busy. I don't like to just watch TV, so I like to. What I picked up was cooking lately. I cook a lot of homemade foods. I make my own pasta, own bread. I make my own. Yeah, I make everything from scratch. It's literally, some of them suck. Some of them suck a lot. Like I made ratatouille last night. It sucked.
Yeah.
It was like 4 hours of work and it tasted terrible.
So now what's your go-to meal? Like if you're cooking to impress somebody, what is your dish you're making?
I have this dish. It's fettuccine Alfredo. I make chicken Alfredo. I make the noodles, I make the sauce, I season the chicken, I do everything from scratch. And it's freaking delicious. Yeah, it's really good.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's my go-to.
All right, cool. So any sponsors you want to shout out to?
For me personally, shout out to G Fuel. Yeah. That should have been one of my highlights was when I got sponsored with G Fuel, man. They have been nothing but awesome. They send you free products all the time. I love their products. I went from drinking 900 milligrams of caffeine every single day, 1200 milligrams of caffeine. It's a lot. And I was going to the hospital for chest pains for a while. And I went from that to 150 milligrams of caffeine, one serving a day. And it's delicious. And it wakes you up. Have you ever had I don't want to show any other companies, but have you ever had an energy drink and you just fall asleep after, or you just, I've had that with every other one except for G Fuel. G Fuel's awesome.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. All right. So any plans for this, any goals or plans this year?
Lose some weight for TwitchCon.
Yeah.
That's a big goal. That and YouTube, man. I'm putting a lot of time into YouTube.
Now, do you edit your own videos?
I do all my own editing.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, it was one of the I had Pastilli on a while ago, and he said, one of his mistakes, looking back, he would have changed if he had got an editor because he had to learn editing himself to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's hard, man. It's time consuming. Like a good 20-minute video, 15-minute video would take me probably a good 12, 15 hours to edit. And that's if I do everything I want to do, and that's not including the thumbnail, and which is I would argue is half the work. Getting a good thumbnail and good title, if you don't have those, your video's not going to do well. That's how it is.
Well, it's funny you say that. So I had Nikki Brave Edits on, he owns a content creation company called Movement, and I said to him, "Why are YouTube thumbnails so important?" And he goes, "Well, nobody likes to read anymore. That's why they're not going to read the title; they're going to look at that thumbnail, and that's what's going to." I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
There's a science behind it, man. Mr. Beast showed it. Mr. Beast, Ludwig showed it. These guys who do YouTube like the way they do, there's a science behind it. They'll get channels that have no name, their name's not on it, nothing's happening. They'll put their work into it, their little pizzazz to it, and they'll blow up. Mr. Beast commented he helped the guy go from making like $4,000 a month to $40,000 a month.
Holy crap!
$40,000 a month. From after I think 3 months of helping him out. with YouTube. There's a science behind YouTube, and it's difficult. There's a lot of things that you like, the algorithm, click through rate, there's just so much like studying and research you have to do to be successful on YouTube.
Yeah. Wow. It's crazy.
Amazing.
Well, hey, you survived.
Yeah. We made it through.
Made it through. Now, before I go though, now it's your turn to call out somebody that I need to have on the podcast. Who are you calling out?
I have two people, man.
All right.
You have to have Swamp Fox and JBB on. They're
here we go.
Two amazing guys. You're going to love them. You're absolutely going to love them.
Excellent. Well, Vohn, thank you so much, man. It's been awesome meeting you, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, cheers, man. Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this. Happy we can finally do it.